Come in. Hi, Jonathan. The board of directors has decided that the new starter introductory set should contain 5 paints only. Can you replicate this image with 5 paints only?
Yeah.
So we have bases, cutters, and spruce, but there are also some flaws. First, some pieces of sprue still remain on the minis. It would also be nice to use a clerical knife to cut the small defects and sandpaper for grinding. Second, not all the parts can be assembled well, just like this shoulder bag that doesn't want to be fitted and sticks out like that. Doesn't look good. But let's move on to painting. We have 5 paints in the set, and this brush with an already broken tip and the fibers that stick out in all directions. So this brush is already damaged. Awesome. You shouldn't also be afraid of mistakes because they can always be corrected. Your skill will get improved with every mini you paint. Well, yes, but your mini will definitely not look like the ones on the photo with the set of paints. There are shades and technical paints and sand. They were often put sand in sets, but not this time. And bushes and other colors like red. And you can also see even more colors on the box cover, for example, yellow. And even decals on parchments as well. And it is also written in small letters at the bottom, but inside the instructions. So I can start just tormenting the mini. According to the instructions, we have to apply the paint right to the miniature without degreasing it and without covering it with the primer. That's an awful idea. The result will be really bad. To be honest, I hoped that undercoat meant applying a primer, but no, you can see on the picture that the mini is actually covered with primer. Just the grey one! A mini without the primer coat has a slightly different shade of grey. And the shine typical for plastic. But the coating on the picture is matte. The instructions are assured that we need just 3 coats. And something tells me that in this case it will be definitely be wrong. Of course, if they are painted by a child or a person who doesn't care about the final look, then no complaints, cool instructions. Everything is good. But for a beginner artist or a person who wants to have nice, simply but neatly painted minis on the table, the result will be disappointing. Perhaps applying the primer here was taken for granted, but it should be noted in the instructions because how, for example, a beginner who does not even know how to apply a base will know that they should apply the primer and why the result was not so good, and on the pictures everything was done carefully. And it is not enough experience problem. It will turn out badly in any case. Here I decided to paint the mini with the badly attached shoulder bag because I will not feel so guilty by spoiling it. Well, the paint is already peeling off. I'm trying to apply it in an even layer, but it delaminates because the mini was not degreased and not covered with primer. You can see on the photo in the instructions that the paint is also unevenly, but it is only because it is applied in a thin layer. As you can see, I have something like a delaminated web on my mini, and there is no such thing in the photo. Well, here is the first layer. It looks, of course, gorgeous, but it is not even close to the picture. Now we have to let the figure dry for like 5 minutes. As you can see here, the flaky paint forms the tubers. And when it dries, it will pouch under the next layer. Oh my god. Ugh. It hurts, you know. It really hurts. I have already applied the second layer here and left it for 5 minutes to dry up. And now the time for third layer. And I fight with spots that don't want to be painted. The paint simply spreads in different directions. The covered ones look very uneven. Now I paint the joints and accessorizes on the belt with Abaddon black. The weapon is also painted with Abaddon black. Now I carefully paint the trim on shoulder parts with Balthazar gold. And purity seals with Negeros night. We paint the parchment with raised bone and it look more like toilet paper now. And the skin of this dude. Um, are these loyalists for sure? And why is this paint so corrupted? Oh, others are smooth and homogeneous consistency. It seems like it was stored in improper conditions because it feels like flaky. I shake it really well to do it more solid. Also, according to instructions, we have to paint the entire base simply with Abaddon black. I remember the times when I also painted like that, just holding the base. And then the paint always got on my fingers, then on the sides. And the sides also need to be painted. The paint smeared. I left my fingerprints there. So at least it would be better to put it on the table and to paint like that. Now the thermoguns. We are advised to completely paint the minis with a thin layer of paint except for the bases, of course checking all the hard to reach places. And again, the 3 applications and 5 minutes of drying time between each undercoat should be enough. Why this time the photos look as if the same picture has been posted here 3 times? They are not different at all. They have even spots on the same places. Spots of paint. Paint the chitinous plates. On the back, head, legs, chest with Negeros night. Claws and hooves are painted with Abaddon black. Also paint the claws and paints on the weapon with Abaddon black. And again paint the whole base in black. So here we are. Here are awesome miniatures. I don't know what to say. It's awful. It's really awful. It really hurts. I feel like I was torture them. I feel like a maniac, you know. I'm really sorry for them, you know. So I decided to paint the miniatures with 5 paints only. These 5 paints, like Jonathan once said. And what I can tell, this is the issue, especially for the beginner painters. This is wasn't possible, but the instruction should be much longer. And the box art creates the fake expectations. It has nothing in common. So this is the image of box art, how it should look like with the realistic result, but I can assure you nobody will pay for that. So here is a place for conclusion. What did you expect? That the games workshop likes money so much and they could never become the multimillionaire company without this trade? Yes. But their marketing created the community of huge number of persons involved in this hobby, and this is really great. So if you want to see these miniatures with 5 pence only, 5 pence from the set of the box, subscribe this channel, and you can also visit my Patreon, Instagram, and TikTok for unique materials. And see you next time.